Okay, guys, one of the things that we're going to be doing over the course of this year is we're going to be talking about a variety of topics. And today, we're really going to start digging in to our mental health topics. Now, mental health is a very, very big topic, and I am not a specialist. So, I brought a specialist with me. Ms. Howley.
Hello.
Hello, and what is your role here at Warrensburg-Latham?
I am the school social worker for the middle and the high schools.
All right. So you work with kids all the way 6th grade up through high school. And what does that mean on a daily basis?
So on a daily basis, generally I work individually with students for individual counseling sessions. I also consult with parents, teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders. But most of my day is spent doing sessions with kids, talking about what's going well for them, what they're struggling with, and how we can solve those problems.
Okay. And so you're really dealing with not just what would be considered traditional mental health. You're dealing with a lot with academics.
Mm-hmm.
And is that basically because we're in a school setting?
I would say most of that is due to where I'm placed inside the schools. So I go over grades with kids if they have missing assignments that they may not be aware of. If some kids are scared to ask for help, that's a go-between between me and the teachers to try and help them be more confident to ask for help. So that's more the academic side of it, and that's because of where I am housed here in the school. But we also focus on things that are going on at home, things that are going on socially, and things that are going on outside of grades here at school as well.
Well, and that's really pretty important because we spend 185 days here at school, and we spend 8 hours, 7 hours a day. If this were a traditional year,
Right.
We're going to spend a lot of time together, whether it's with staff, whether it's students with peers. There's a lot of time that we're all in this same boat. And so academics is important, but we all have to interact with each other. And that's what brings us kind of to our mental health discussion. Because if I were to ask you, what's your basic definition mental health? What are the big pieces that make up mental health?
So like you said, that is a very broad, overarching topic, but if I were to try and put it in a nutshell, it would be kind of the overall social, emotional, interactive, and physical health, and kind of how those all interplay together. Okay,
and so that's really what we're talking about when we're saying your overall health. You mentioned physical. Okay, well, we get that. That's, physical education. We have a whole department on that. We have health classes on that. But we don't necessarily have mental health classes. What types of topics likely are we going to be addressing in this series of episodes relating to mental health?
So some of the things that I think are most important for our staff and our students to have a better understanding of, things such as anxiety, depression, stress, coping skills, healthy relationships and boundaries, how to communicate. Gratitude's another really important one.
Well, and interesting that you mentioned that, because your list started to my ears. It started depression, anxiety, stress. All these things are tightening up. All these things are bringing me down. But then we start moving into communication or relationships. And now those aren't always going to be positive, but as a general rule, those are positive things. And then we go all the way over here to gratitude. There's kind of two sides to mental healthiness. It's not just the negatives, it is the positives. Why is it so important to be talking about some of those positives of mental health rather than just those negatives that traditionally get all the attention?
Well, I think because everyone has good days and bad days, and if you don't learn how to deal with the bad days, you won't learn to appreciate the good days. So I think in order to have a well-rounded understanding of how a person functions, you want to be able to tackle the tough stuff and know how to deal with that and where and who can help you deal with that, but also how to appreciate what we have already while still working towards growth.
And I think that's going to be one of our big topics, is addressing what do we have, and then how do we address those things that we feel need for. When those tough times come, how do we get help? How do we get what we need and what's available? Now, if there's one thing that you really want every kid, 6th grade to 12th grade, to know, if there were no other episodes of this, what's the big thing all kids need to know?
I would say that whatever you're feeling, it's okay and it's normal. And that, all of their feelings are valid. If you're frustrated, if you're stressed out, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're excited, if you're nervous, all of those are normal, healthy emotions. The problem can be sometimes when we feel angry, for example, what do we do when we feel angry? Some people cry, some people hurt themselves or others, some people break stuff. And so what I want to help kids learn is that it's okay to feel how you feel, but there may be a more effective way to deal with those feelings.
So anger as an emotion, if I'm angry, that by itself is not necessarily bad.
No, because there are definitely situations that you can and should be angry about.
It's what we need to do to address those things. That's really what we need to talk about.
Yeah, it's how we express our feelings that can sometimes be a problem.
And not just the negative feelings, because we're going to be here again for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the course of the year, we're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have a lot of days that are just kind of in the middle, and addressing the constant grind or addressing how do we interact with each other on the bad days, that gets a lot of attention. But how do we express ourselves positively? How do we express ourselves on the good days? How do we help others when their days don't match our days?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are all going to be key parts of what we're going to be talking about over the course of this series. So I think this is a great place to stop for our first one, and we're going to start addressing what are some of the ways that we can deal with some very specific challenges with mental health.
Thank you.
Thank you.